Good morning. I don't really think it's fair to start with me since I haven't had nearly enough coffee this morning, but I'll go ahead. I'm very pleased, as I said yesterday, that everyone has come to this conference, and I think that we've learned a lot of interesting things yesterday. As a co-sponsor of the conference, you know, you always have sort of an idea of what you think will happen, and then other things happen, and you learn new things you didn't anticipate. I think we learned an extraordinary number of things yesterday, and we learned about dimensions of transparency, access, oversight, and accountability. We learned about the rule of three from Ron Rivest. We learned about deep audits, about hot audits, about cold audits, and we even came up with a new acronym or two. So there are a lot of interesting things that for me came out of yesterday, but I wanted to focus a little bit on the principles of transparency, because that's something that our organization has been interested in for a long time. For us, putting these thoughts together, one of the most important things that has been in the forefront of my mind and that has come out of this for me is that building transparency is a step-by-step process, just like working towards audits can be a step-by-step process. If there is one or two steps you could take in your state, in your jurisdiction, either as an election integrity advocate, as an election official, as a computer scientist, as a statistician, if there are one or two steps you could take to build greater transparency into the process, I think that's the one thing that goes the furthest towards making all of our jobs easier. And I say that because it helps shift the culture. When I started working on the issue of voter verified paper ballots, I noticed that there was in some jurisdictions there was a sort of a cultural idea of paper bad, machines good. And that has shifted over time. And I'm glad that that's the case, but it really did require sort of a wrenching out of a certain zone, a certain way of thinking about it. I think transparency is the same way. I think the idea that you can share openly with citizens who are anxious, as you are as an election official, to know that the elections are going well and things are working the way that they're supposed to. And even when they don't work the way you anticipate, that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. So citizen participation from the get-go is a way to bring in lots more minds, lots more expertise. I know a lot of citizens may not seem like experts, and you certainly know more about elections as election officials than they do from the outside. No one denies that. But there are a lot of good ideas that people bring, and they notice things. It's just like having somebody else proofread your work or something. You know, they find things, and you're glad that they did. And so I'm hoping to see that with some of the principles that were brought out, especially in the breakout sessions yesterday about transparency and public confidence, that we'll see stepwise incremental movement towards greater transparency and participation. An idea that came to me is that leading up into the 2008 election cycle and beyond, you know, a great thing would be to have a citizen advisory board. If you're here as an election integrity advocate and there is no citizen advisory board in your or council of some sort like that in your county, that would be a good thing to see if you could start. And I believe that election officials, you know, may find a way to welcome that, especially if approached properly, and that can be a really good thing for helping you understand more about how difficult their job is, and find ways to make it easier. I think one of the things that was brought out, and actually one of the question cards, is what good is transparency if no one's there to watch? I say that goes back to the simple principle. If you want to watch and you can't, you know, that's the converse of that. people say to me, what's the point of a voter verified paper record if no one's going to look at it and verify their vote? Well, they need to have the opportunity to verify their vote. And that's the basic principle there. If I don't look at my receipt when I come out of the grocery store, shame on me, but at least I had the chance because I got one. So I think that really our job is to help encourage citizen interest and observation and participation in those kinds of activities, because in actuality when citizens do that, they find it very rewarding. And so much fun.
It's got an email, I guess.
Reminds me of my nature walk this morning. Anyway, they do find it rewarding. We had people who participated in our in a transparency project doing observing of the audit in their county, and they emailed me and said, yeah, I feel so much more like a citizen now, and thanks for this opportunity. And I know that Mark here in Minnesota said he had many experiences like that, and so as people realize that they can do this, I suspect that more will. And I know they won't all stay for the whole long time, but we may have people cycling in and cycling out, and that's a good thing too. So, so transparency is good, even you know, if no one's there every single time and for the whole time. Knowing that they have the chance to do that and encouraging them to do that, I think is a great thing. That's all I'm going to talk about for now, because Candace has things to say, and so does Larry, so I will turn over to them. But I do hope that we'll hear more from you and your questions as we go forward.